Hello Pokemon trainers, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Battle Stadium singles video here on iStarly TV. This is not an actual battle video, but I did want to discuss something that is directly related to Battle Stadium singles. By the way, I know I haven't done a battle video in a little while. I've been meaning to, I just had a lot of other videos I wanted to do, and aside from that, I've had a lot going on in life, finishing up my semester and everything, so a lot of work and everything, so I've just been busy. And, you know, the metagame is the same. You know, we did start a new season as of June 1st, so the rank is reset, which I've been meaning to play on, but it's the same rules, at least for the month of June, so nothing new has changed, and the metagame is the same old stuff. So I'm going to try to make a video pretty soon. I need to make a team as well and see what's working, but I also wanted to show off some Pokemon from my older regions, older generations, that I could now use in Battle Stadium, so I'm excited for that. But anyway, this video is about next month. The new season has been announced, the new rule set for Battle Stadium, and of course this will include either VGC doubles or Battle Stadium singles. And this is called Regulation D, and it'll go from July 1st until September 30th. And the new rule set is going to be exciting. As many of us have guessed, all of the Pokemon that are transferable from Pokemon Home that are from older games are now going to be legal in Battle Stadium, with some exceptions. So the Pokemon that are banned include the restricted legends like Mewtwo, Kyogre, Groudon, Rayquaza, however you say it, Dialga, etc., as well as mythicals such as Mew, Meloetta, Arceus, Diancie, etc. So, you know, you would expect these Pokemon to be banned, and of course they are. So these are all banned. By the way, this is sarahb.net. I'll leave a link to this page in the description because this is a great website. And now all the new Pokemon that are going to be added to the meta include all of these. It's a long list. I'm not going to read every single one. I'm just going to try to talk about some important additions to the meta. But this is going to absolutely shake up the meta in a very, very significant way. Currently in the meta, we've got Pokemon like Dragonite, Fluttermane, Chien-Pao, even Goldango that are just like really at the top of the meta. These are all Pokemon that you see very often, you encounter them very often, and it feels like the metagame is somewhat narrow. Like, it feels like there's not too much room for improvement in singles. By the way, I talk specifically about singles here. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's too much room for innovation. I do try to make teams with Pokemon that are lesser used, and it's a lot of fun. And for the most part, it's been working out really well for me. But I'm just extremely excited for this brand new meta because, again, it's going to add... I mean, I haven't even counted this. I would guess this is about 50, probably more than 50 new Pokemon into the format. They're not new, obviously, but they're new to Scarlet and Violet's competitive scene. So it's going to be crazy. There's a lot of Pokemon we want to try. And really importantly, this is adding the Hisuian Pokemon. So Pokemon like Hisuian Electrode, Hisuian Arcanine, Hisuian Goodra, Sneasler, Ursaluna, Pokemon like that made their debut in Legends Arceus, but have never been usable in a player versus player competitive setting yet. So this is going to be our first time trying out some of those Pokemon, and I'm sure some of them are going to be really good. Some of them look insane, and some of them have exclusive moves that are also just insane. So again, this meta is going to be wild. I'm super excited for it. I'll try to stop saying that because I think it's obvious at this point, but I just really am. Okay, so a couple important Pokemon to talk about right off the bat. I think there's 4 that I really want to talk about that have really made a name for themselves in previous generations. Basically any generation where they've been legal in Battle Stadium, they've been just so good. And those are Zapdos, Landorus, Greninja, and Cinderace. So Zapdos and Landorus kind of are just 2 of the straight up best Pokemon. I think towards the end of Sword and Shield, at least before the whole legendary Pokemon thing, like restricted legends were allowed, Landorus and Zapdos were just so dominant in the meta. I think there was a point where Zapdos was the most used Pokemon by far. And both of these Pokemon, they're just so good. I mean, they can really fill any role. They can be offensive threats, they can be sweepers, they can be defensive threats, they can be pivots. I mean, they can do just about anything. Their typing is great, their move pool is great, and they are losing some moves in the transition between generations. However, we now have the ability to terrestrialize, which is good, both good and bad for them. But I think it's going to be more good for them because Landorus is just such an insane Pokemon. It's got amazing stats and a great move pool. And now you can add in the ability for it to change its typing. Its typing is it's really good, but also it's one of its biggest weaknesses because of course it's super weak to ice, weak to water, etc. The ability to kind of get rid of that and make it so that your opponents think that they're going to have the upper hand on you, but then all of a sudden they don't. That I think is going to be insane. And Landorus, yeah, Landorus is going to be crazy here, just as always. And then Zapdos, same thing with Zapdos. It's just such a fantastic Pokemon. Now, the other two also fill similar roles to each other, and they are offensive Pokemon with the abilities Libero and Protean, respectively, which is basically the same exact ability, which is when you use a move, your typing changes to the type of that move, which has been historically insane. Greninja in Gen 6 and Gen 7 was amazingly good, and then Cinderace in Gen 8 was also amazingly good, so, you know, I don't expect these to be any different here, although both of those abilities were nerfed. So previously with Protean or Libero, let's say you have your Greninja so this was Gen 8 and before, if you have your Greninja use Gunk Shot, it would change into the poison type. Then if the next turn you have it use Ice Beam, it would change into an ice type. And then again, if you had it use Dark Pulse, it would be a dark type. Now, how they've changed these abilities if you have your Greninja in battle and you use Gunk Shot, you change into a poison type. Then, if you use Ice Beam, you do not change type. You're still a poison type. So the first time you use a move, you will change to the type of that move, and you'll stay that way, I believe, until you switch out. So you have your Greninja, you use Gunk Shot, you're now a poison type. The opponent sends in a Psychic Pokemon, you switch out, then you switch back in. You're a water dark type again, and then you can use a dark type move, and now you're a dark type. So it definitely makes the ability a lot worse, but I still think it's a good ability. I mean, we have Meowscarada in the meta, and before the rise of Fluttermane and Chien Pao, Meowscarada was a really good Pokemon in Battle Stadium Singles in Gen 9. So we have the evidence of this ability still being really good in this meta, or in this game rather. It's just that it is noticeably worse now, but I still expect these two Pokemon to be very good. Probably not as dominant as they were in previous generations, but they're still going to be good. I would not be surprised if that's the case. And so with that being said, you know, other Pokemon that I'm excited to try out, Hisui and Zoroark, the Galarian birds are going to be really cool. I mean, they were also usable in Sword and Shield, and honestly, they didn't see that much play. I think Galarian Moltres was the one out of the three that saw a good amount of play. It was actually pretty good, and I really love that Pokemon, so I'm excited to use it again. We get Heatran back, we get Cresselia back, just two great Pokemon as well. Cresselia is actually really good because it's so insanely bulky. And once again, with the ability to terrestrialize and change its typing, it can make up for a lot of its common weaknesses. And it's really good at setting up Calm Minds and just not dying. So that's a scary one to think about as well. Thundurus is really, really cool. And then again, the Hisuian Pokemon. Hisuian Goodra has the same exact stats as regular Goodra. It's just a Steel and Dragon type, which I think is pretty darn good. Hisuian Decidueye also has really cool typing, Grass and Fighting. Its stats are not amazing, but it has an exclusive move called Triple Arrows, I believe, which is like does everything. It has like a crit chance. I think it like makes them flinch or something, and it like lowers their defense or something like that. It's really insane. It just does everything, like I said. Rillaboom's another Pokemon that was pretty good in previous generations, or last generation rather, because of grassy terrain or grassy surge, whatever it's called. Although this time around, I'm not sure it gets Grassy Glide. So if that's the case, it's going to be a lot less good, although I still think it might be pretty strong. Urshifu's back. That's a great Pokemon. And then finally, these Pokemon at the bottom here are brand new. Weirdeer, Kleavor, Ursaluna, Basculegion, etc., etc. And all of these, and Enamorus as well. I think Enamorus is going to be really good. It's a fairy and flying type. It's got great stats. I mean, it's a Therian Pokemon. Like these are all historically really good, right? And I'm really excited to try it out as well. Yeah, so I mean, that's the video. That's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to go a little in depth, but at the same time, I don't want this video to be too long. So I just wanted to build hype for this and just kind of look through the list of Pokemon that are going to be added to the meta. And again, it's just going to open up the meta super wide. Like, there's going to be so many new things that are going to be viable, and it's going to be insane. I still expect like Dragonite and Fluttermane and Qianpao to be very good. The sad thing is, like, none of these Pokemon are faster than those, so those are still going to be like the top threats in the meta, but you know, it's going to be fun. I just cannot wait for July 1st for this new meta. So let me know in the comments what you think of this new season, this new rule set. Which Pokemon are you excited to try either in singles or doubles? Because again, I'm talking about singles here, but even if you play doubles more, let me know what you're really excited for. I know a lot of people are excited for Ursaluna. I know a lot of people are dreading the return of Landorus. It's going to be fun. But thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate it. Please leave a like and subscribe for more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet videos. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day.